We are into the day 3 of the Science Festival. I think we have come from different schools and colleges, and we have been in this hall, had some great lectures over the last 2 days, and this is the afternoon session of day 3, and we thought of something different. Each scientists have come from different places and have been presenting different themes about their institutes, the work of their scientific organizations. So we had Dr. Mohan Ram was speaking about CSI, CCMB, which is nearby. We had speakers from IICD. We had speakers from pharma industry. So we thought, why not have a talk on this great institute, which we are actually sitting here, the ICMR National Institute of Nutrition. So ICMR N9 is more than a 100-year-old institute, as it's actually now 104. So we'll call 4-year-old baby now, because after every 100 years the cycle starts again. It's a small baby now for us. Take it forward for the next 100 years. We need youngsters like you who would be interested in science and nutrition. And in this regard, we have 75 years of independence. We have organized an essay writing competition for which the 3 PhD scholars, 3 young researchers from NIN have done their hard work to understand the history of NIN and will be presenting to you now. I first call upon Dr. Pratap Reddy to start the proceedings, followed by, he's a technical officer working at NIN. He's a permanent employee. Please give a round of applause. Next, Mr. Arun Pandyan, who is a PhD scholar. Please come here. We have Mr. James Thomas, who is also a PhD scholar. So this is for youngsters, by the youngsters, about the history. So let's rock. Please, over to Pratap. Yes.
Thank you, sir. First of all, I would like to thank my director, Dr. Hemlata Madam, and Juan Prakash Reddy sir, and organizing committee for giving me this great opportunity to talk about NIN. So, as already sir said, NIN, very few institutes in India has a history of 100 years in their research. NIN is one among those. And you know, it was started with a single room laboratory at Pasteur Institute, Kunur, Tamil Nadu, and to the mighty campus that you are seeing now. And it is from past 104 years, it is serving the country, and still it's on their way. Not only it has helped in the nutritional policies of the country, and NIN research is there everywhere in our lives. You will know about all those things while going for the presentation. Now coming to the, way back in 1918, Sir Robert Mike Harrison, the founder director of NIN, has started a research on beriberi. It's a nutritional disorder. This disease affects mostly cardiovascular system and nervous system. And Sir Robert McPherson observed that this disease was more prevalent in the people who eat polished rice as a staple food. So in order to know why it is more prevalent in those groups, at that time, those diets are whatever they consume are known as deficient diets. So in order to know what makes it's very, very occurs, so Sir Robert McPherson has done an experiment where he had fed these deficient diets to pigeons and monkeys, and he observed the symptoms of beriberi in those animals. Not only that, after that, his extensive work, he has noticed and he observed that it was a nutrition factor. At that time, it was called as a B factor, and later on, we know that is B complex vitamins, and more precisely, it was the vitamin B1 that is actually lacking of vitamin B1 in diet is actually causing beriberi. And you know, this is the first experiment to demonstrate that deficiency of diets in an animal models throughout the world. And second, in 1960s, people believed that the diets that consumed by children mostly below 5 years lacks protein, and this is the root cause. Protein is the root cause for the poor growth in them. So based upon that assumption, people started giving protein-rich diets to the children, but there was no improvement in their growth. So in order to know what is the root cause for this poor growth in the children, NIM has done an elaborated diet surveys on the diet consumed by the preschool children, particularly below 5 years. Based upon the elaborated diet surveys, what they found is these diets, they were rich in protein, but something else is missing. That is nothing but the energy required for the children is missing here. In order to prove whether energy is really serving the purpose or not, NIN has conducted a research where they had taken children around Hyderabad, and these children were given 25% of more food than they usually consume, and it was resulted in good way, and the growth of the children is as far equal to the well-nourished children. So the concept of malnutrition has been changed. Earlier it was protein malnutrition, but after NIN experimentation it was protein and energy that is contributing for the malnutrition. Lack of protein and energy is the root cause for the malnutrition that caused in the children below 5 years. And not only that, NIN has made several recipes based upon the local foods which were rich in both protein as well as energy, and they educated the people how to make them also. So the concept of malnutrition has been changed again. So most of you know that vitamin A is the essential vitamin that is required for the normal vision, eyesight. So lack of this vitamin or deficiency of this vitamin leads to initially night blindness, and severity slowly leads to xerophthalmia or keratomalacia, and finally children will lose if the deficiency continues, and severe deficiency of vitamin A leads to permanent blindness. And every year it was reported that 2 to 5 lakhs children are suffering with vitamin A deficiency, and they are losing their sight because of vitamin A deficiency. So NIN has come with a solution to prevent this vitamin A deficiency in children. What they did is, what our scientists has done is, they had taken 2,000 children in and around Hyderabad from 26 villages, and all these children were given a massive dose of vitamin A every 6 months and followed for the vitamin A deficiency in them. And surprisingly, all of them are rich in vitamin A, and there is no deficiency was found in these children, and this was a great success. Based upon the success and prevention of vitamin A deficiency in these children, there was Government of India had launched a nationwide preventive program in 1970, and most of us in this hall had received vitamin A when we were in childhood. This is all because of NIN again. And not only that, after success in India, WHO has adopted this program to Southeast Asian countries where vitamin A is more prevalent, and there also it was succeeded. And coming to the Authorism, Authorism is a disease, it's a neurological disease. The person affected with Authorism, there occurs a paralytic conditions of the lower limbs particularly. The reason for this is, generally this Authorism is observed in people who eat excess of kesari dal. It's a pulse that usually consumed in the most of the central part of India, particularly Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh and Bihar regions. The reason for the Authorism is this pulse contains a toxic substance, and it is a neurotoxic, and finally the person who consumes excessively this pulse will become paralytic. Though you can imagine in 1961 alone, 32,000 people are victims of this Authorism only in 2 districts of Madhya Pradesh. You can imagine the magnitude of this problem at that time. Still it is somewhere, it is there. At that time, the major problems were, though it was causing toxicity in people, but still people are compelled to consume it, because the well reasons is those central Indian parts where drought and floods were more. This Authorism, that false kesari dal, can be cultivated in extreme condition. It can be cultivated in drought as well as even in flood regions also. Not only that, it requires bare minimum agricultural inputs and money to cultivate it, and moreover, it yields almost 3 times more than an usual pulse like tur dal. So people generally with less inputs, they will cultivate it. And not only that, one more practice in those states is, whenever the crop is harvested, the agricultural laborers will be given this kesari dal as their wages. So they will cook it. So this problem is getting more prevalent on those days. At that time, there were 2 tasks before NIL. One is to identify what is the toxin that is causing paralytic conditions in these people, and the second thing is how to remove it. So initially, first NIL has identified that the toxin responsible for this paralytic condition or neurotoxin is it's oxal diaminopropionic acid. After identifying the toxin, now the question is how to remove it, and that method should be very simplified. It should be simple as so that it can be used in homes also. So they have come with different methods for domestic use and even for the industrial elimination of the toxin. For domestic purpose, you just take the kesari dal in 1 fold and add 4 folds of boiled water to it, and then keep it for 1 hour. This toxic will come out of the seeds and it will be in the water, and throw out the water and sun dry the pearls, and you can reuse it. Now it is a toxic free. If you want to go for the large scale, more amount, simply go for soaking the hot water for 10 to 15 minutes and then 4 boil condition of steam for 10 to 15 minutes, it will remove the toxin. Not only that, NIN has screened several kesari dal varieties and come up with a low toxin producing varieties, and these varieties are given for the farmers for cultivation, so that when they produce also the toxin levels will be low, so that it won't cause the paralytic conditions in the persons who eats it. This is an interesting study that NIN has conducted. Pellagra is a well-known nutritional deficiency disorder. It was well known at that time. The reason for most of the endemic pellagra occurs in the people who eat maize, excessive maize. The reason is, since they eat excessive maize, but maize doesn't have an amino acid tryptophan, or it may be low in content in the quantity. Tryptophan is the essential amino acid that is required for synthesis of vitamin B3, so niacin. So since maize has a low amount of tryptophan, it cannot help the synthesis of B3. So as a result, pellagra will occur, and the person affected with pellagra will have a dry skin and inflammation in the skin, and the symptoms occurs. That is well known. Now, another scientist has observed that the similar conditions of pellagra were also observed in the people who eat jowar as their staple food. And surprisingly, when they went for the nutritional profiling of this jowar, there was a rich amount of tryptophan is present in the jowar. So what they did is, now they compared the nutritional profile of maize and jowar, and the common sharing factor what they found is both maize and jowar contains excessive amount of leucine. So they suspect leucine has something with the tryptophan metabolism. In order to prove that, NIN has done several experimental on animals, particularly on dogs. So dogs were given excessive amount of leucine, and after giving the leucine, the symptoms of pellagra were observed in the dogs. Then once they observed it, and later they found that leucine, presence of excessive leucine is disturbing the tryptophan metabolism, and it is affecting the synthesis of B3. That's why how pellagra comes in jowar eating people. See, when we see sometimes a nutrient deficient may lead to a nutritional disorder like we seen in the berry variant, vitamin A. Sometimes presence of a nutrient may become toxin like we have seen in the Authorism. Sometimes presence of a nutrient like leucine may alter or may disturb the mechanism of other nutrient. So it shows that how nutritional research is fascinating and how it was important also. And coming to the epidemic dropsy, epidemic dropsy is nothing but, it's simple terms, it's a mixing of the oils. Sometimes it may be accidental, most of the times it will be intentional. Why they will go for this? Particularly this epidemic dropsy, people will mix most of the mustard and groundnut oils with argemone oil. Why do they do this? The simple reason is argemone oil is cheaper when compared to the other oil. Not only that, when compared to the mustard and other oil, it yields oil 3 times more than that in general oils. So it is easy getting an argemone oil and mixing it. But after consuming this mixed adult oil, people will have a gastrointestinal disorders and it results in the edema also sometimes. It is how argemone plant and seeds looks. It looks more like a mustard seeds only. It is easy to even adulteration also. So in order to find out how NIN has done extensive research how to determine this adulteration or mixing of argemone with the mustard oil. So not only NIN has found that a method to determine the argemone mixing, but they found a method that can even quantify how much amount of the argemone oil is mixed with general mustard oils. This is one of the greatest achievement in adulteration. And coming to the aflatoxins, whenever most of the fungi molds produces some toxic substances called aflatoxins, particularly when seeds or paddy or anything stored in humid conditions, this will allow the fungus to grow, and as fungus grows along with the storage cereals, it will produce the aflatoxins, and these aflatoxins are toxic to humans. So NIM has a separate department where they had found different methods for detecting the aflatoxins in maize, groundnut, milk, and other pulses also. So we are doing a great job in even detection methods, not only identifying the deficiency diseases, but even detecting methods also and processing methods also. I am not done yet. The rest of the things, achievements will be continued by Mr. Arun. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Did everyone have lunch? Did anyone think about NIN while having lunch? Okay, I hope after this presentation you all will think about NIN, the crucial role we play in your day-to-day daily food habits and nutrition. So let's go. So first of all, my colleague Mr. Pratap Reddy had explained to you about the inception and the contributions of NIN in his initial days. I just want to continue with very crucial products which we have developed in NIN, and also which we had transferred the technology to different commercial suppliers so that it reaches you in a wide scale. So first product is double fortified salt. So as we know, the iron deficiency anemia and the iodine deficiency syndrome are widespread in India. Maybe a couple of or 3 decades ago it was very widespread, and then what we at NIN did was we made a double fortified salt with iodine and iron, and then we transferred the technology to different commercial units. So we made sure that the double fortified salt find its place in your plate. And in the recent NFHS 5 data, it has been observed that 96% of the household are consuming the iodized salt. So that's like a huge achievement from where we actually initially had started. As we know, micronutrient deficiencies, especially iodine and iron deficiencies, are a public health concern in India. In order to tackle that, we are doing extensive research in NIN, and we are coming out with we are developing new products to tackle the malnutrition and micronutrient deficiencies. Dual fortification of salt with iodine and iron could be sustainable approach to combat iron and iodine deficiencies. NIN has pioneered the development of double fortified salt and also has transferred the technology to iodized salt manufacturers in the country and continues to provide quality control support.
These are the brands which have utilized the NIN double fortified salt, and which after the technology has been transferred to them. You can make note of it. Have you came across Balamritam? Yes, as we know, Balamritam is also one of the weaning supplement prepared by National Institute of Nutrition. It's been supplemented to kids between the age of 7 months and 3 years. The weaning food is made of wheat, channa, dal, milk powder, oil and sugar. And it is very much useful because it fills around 50% of your recommended dietary allowance in your day. So these are the components which are part of the Balamritam: roasted wheat, Bengal gram, skim milk powder, sugar, oil, and it has been given to children 3 to 5 times in a day. As you can see, these are the nutritional composition of Balamritam, where protein is around 11 grams and fat is around 11 grams, and the recommended iron also 50% has been filled by providing 9 grams. It also has other essential vitamins and micronutrients. Then we have also we at NIN also have worked on the iron and folic acid supplemented fortified wheat. These are the fortified wheat flour brands available in India, which are developed by NIN, and then the technology has been transferred to them. Next contribution is the project Grow Smart, where micronutrient supplemented powder is given to the students as a part of their breakfast, and then we have also conducted studies to assess the efficiency of such supplementation program, and then we found that the level of micronutrients that actually had increased after the supplementation compared to the control groups. After 8 months of supplementing, it was noted that anemia reduced from around 46% to 10% among the groups supplemented with the Project Grow Smart supplement. Then, as you know, in order to combat micronutrient deficiencies, our government of India is taking a very extensive step to increase the fortification of food, and fortification as a tool is a major weapon to fight micronutrient deficiency. So what we did was we conducted a primary analysis to find out whether ultra rice is actually effective in combating anemia and iron deficiency, and then we had supplemented this ultra rice to under the ICDS scheme to different school children. Around 22 schools we have done the results, and we found that the iron stores had increased among the children who have been who have been fed by this ultra rice. Next is the National Nutritional Anemia Prophylaxis Program. As you know, women and kids need enough iron in their dietary allowance. And have you seen the NFHS 5 data? It is very sad to see that around more than 50% of the women and kids population are suffering from iron deficiency anemia, and it is very important that we take necessary steps to tackle them. And as a part of it, NIN play a very vital role in bringing up this iron folate supplementation, which is essential for kids and pregnant women. As my colleague Mr. Pratap Reddy had introduced you earlier to the vitamin A deficiency, which will lead to night blindness. This is part of the vitamin A prophylaxis program, where 2 states were selected from all over India, and then based on the studies conducted by NIN, the results were actually piloted and scaled up for all over India and made it into part of the national prophylaxis immunization scheme. Today every kid will get a vitamin A prophylaxis along with other immunization which are part of the immunization schedule. And we have also developed a dry blood spot facility where to assess the retinol, serum retinol, in collaboration with an American an institute from California. And then since you all are completely addicted to your phone, we also developed that we have to reach you in some other way to make sure that you all get to know what is actually up to date with nutrition and food science. And then we developed this Nutify India app. We developed it in 17 languages to make sure that the app reaches the diverse population of India. In it, you can find out your nutritional requirements, the nutritional composition of different foods, and what you have to eat in a day, and you can find out whether you can monitor your energy intake and all such things. I highly recommend you to go to your Play Store or Apple Store and install these applications, and also give a 5-star rating. So, did you go through the publications from NIN which are at the stall right over there? Yeah, if you are a nutrition, we have created a different kinds of Bible, Mahabharat and Bhagavad Gita for you people, which everyone you should be having. So these are all very essential publications from NIN. We always try to stay up to date with all the necessary data. We do extensive research from different divisions, and we collaborate with each other to give you the best possible results. And the Indian food composition table has been recently published. And we also have dietary guidelines for Indians. Everything is on the exhibition there. You can buy those books also. It will be very useful for your things. So as overall, we make sure that you always think about the producer and the consumer, but we are the researchers in between the producer and the consumer. We make sure that you get to consume the safe and nutritious food, so that we can grow together as a community and help in developing a better nation. Thank you.
Thank you for your demonstration and presentation. Now, I just want to ask everyone over here, how many of you people go for shopping every day, or at least once a week? Just raise your hand. Very few, very few. Really? 1, 2, ma'am over there, lady over there. Okay, so whenever you are purchasing or visiting any type of stores for buying anything, you might be observing these labels behind the food products. Okay, so you might have observed the contents that are given over here. Here the energy is given over here, protein is given over here. So you might be wondering that do these things really contain this, what they are claiming? Do that packet of biscuit really contain this much amount of energy or this much amount of protein? How do they do that if that is correct? Okay, so these all things is based on IFCT book that has been published by NIN. It was first released in 1935, and after that several revisions were made, and in 2017 the latest publication was taken out. Here you can find the nutritive content of almost all of the food products that you can, not food products actually, food items that you can think of. From seafoods like prawn till spices like cinnamon, from fruits like kiwi till vegetables like broccoli, you can find 160 of nutritive components related information in this book. Okay, so this has been a very useful boon for the companies as well as for nutritionists and dietitianists for working as well as for advising people what to consume, what to eat, how much to eat, and what are the resources of every nutrient. Now, some of you might, or someone in your family might have visited any dietitian nearby, or some at a time, then they might have advised that you need to eat this much amount of calorie, this much amount of protein. All these are given by nutritionists or dietitians. Now, who is a dietitian? Dietitian is a qualified person who is having the knowledge to give you, to prescribe you any type of diet that will be helpful for the betterment of you. Now, how does a dietitian comes to know how much amount of energy, how much amount of protein, how much amount of macronutrients or micronutrients do you need? Now, for that, this book is very helpful. That is RDA, Recommended Dietary Allowances, that has been published by NIN, and the latest version is of 2022 and it has been revised many times, so this is the latest one. Now, it has been made according to the body structure and the genetics of Indian body. We are not similar to US people or European people. We don't have their type of body. we are having more amount of fat in our body, they have more amount of muscle. So definitely our nutritional needs are very different. Now, for determining, for making this RDO, for getting to these numbers that are given in this book, what were the variables? We actually considered many variables for determining these things. In that, age, gender, your physiological condition, if you are at a bed rest, if you are pregnant, if you are lactating, or even if you are working hard. For example, your work type is of a quarry person, like a person who is working in a quarry, or you are sitting worker like a writer, for example. Okay, you are a software engineer, so most of the time you are sedentary. Okay. Otherwise, if you are working in a construction site, your physical workload is comparatively very much large. So your energy requirement is very more. So all these factors were considered while designing this book. Now, along with the recommended dietary allowances, one more thing was added over here, that is EAR, estimated average requirement. Okay. Now, this is not usually applicable to you as an individual person. This is more useful for government bodies or international organizations such as UN or FAO who is working in the field of nutrition, so that they can have an information about the nutritional requirement of a population. Large number of people can be studied using EAR. So these two books, as Arun, my colleague over here, had advised and told you regarding that these publications are considered as Bible, Quran or holy books for nutritionists. These are very big and considerably very big achievement done by NN for the betterment of country, and that has been considered very well renowned in the whole world. Now, NN has published many publications, but you all people can read and write all these things and have information about it. But people who are actually visually not able to see, for them, NN has also published book in Braille so that they can touch and feel and understand the nutrition related knowledge. So no one is deprived of nutritional knowledge. And NN has donated also all these things to various organizations. Now, other than these things, NN also conducts nutritional surveys. Now, nutritional surveys are very important for determining the nutritional status of our nation through NNMB, that is National Nutritional Monitoring Monitoring Bureau. So, this body actually conducted many surveys across India, and the main purpose was to find out the extent of diseases such as diabetes, obesity, hyperlipidemia, and all types of these lifestyle related disorders. Okay, the other health related conditions are also covered by NFHS, but here we are considering lifestyle related disorders. So NN on a regular basis does this also. Now, along with that research and all related works, it is a duty of us, like the present scientists and present working professionals, to create next generation of researchers. For that, we need people who are expert, who are capable, who are having much amount of nutrition related information. So, for creating next generation of nutrition related professionals, NN has been conducting courses on MSc in food applied nutrition, along with that MSc in sports nutrition, and an exclusive course for medical professionals as well as nutritionists, for imparting the importance of nutrition in their daily practice, so that doctors may also have the knowledge of nutrition in their daily practice, so they can advise nicely. Now, NN also focuses on the tribal knowledge. The knowledge of our country is very vast, and we have a lot of knowledge hidden somewhere. Now, these tribal people who are consuming indigenous foods, we might not know what they are actually consuming. Some of the indigenous foods are great source of rich minerals as well as vital nutrients than our commonly available things. So, NN has been doing the food analysis of indigenous tribes. One of that tribe is, you can see over here, that is Khasi tribe of Northeast India. Along with that, that project is actually complete. Right now, N9 is working on Chenchu tribes of Nallamala forest in Andhra Pradesh. Now, can any of you people tell me how many of you like spices, like spiciness in their food? तीखा पसंद है? कितने लोगों को? ओके, तो सारे लोगों को पसंद है. Now, ये information मैं आपसे क्यों share कर रहा हूँ? Why I'm sharing this thing? Why I'm asking you this thing is, N9 has also worked on analysis of India's hottest chili, that is Bhut Jolokia, that has been available in Northeast. Okay, as I said before, the indigenous foods of Northeast needs to be analyzed. This is one of that. That is the hottest chili in India. It is having hotness of more than 1 million Scoville heat unit. What is Scoville heat unit? This measurement of that तीखापन होता है ना कोई खाने का, Scoville heat, SHU बोलते हैं उसे. Now Scoville heat unit is the number of time you need to dip the capsaicin of a chili in sugar water to dilute that. So you have to dip this chili 1 million times in sugar water to eat it normally. Now, till 2007, this chili was considered to be world's hottest chili, world's spiciest chili. But that position has been taken by some other chili, that is Carolina Reaper, I guess. Yes, Carolina Reaper, that has a Scoville heat unit of more than 2 million. 20 लाख बार डुबा हो गए तब आप खा सकते हैं normally उसे. So this is one of the achievement done by N9. Here we did what we did was the capsaicin related analysis along with the amino acid and fatty acid related analysis were done at N9. Now आप में से देख के हंसने लगे सब लोग. Now this has been a controversial topic as well as humorous topic also for you people. कितने लोगों को पानी पूरी पसंद है? Oh, full. Okay. अभी समर भी आ रहा है, सब लोग जूस भी पियोगे, बाहर जाके गन्ने का जूस मिल रहा है, शुगर केन वाटर इज देयर. सैलेड्स खाते हो, मैं कोई ब्रांड का नाम नहीं लूंगा, बट सैलेड्स में कौन फेमस है आपको पता है. Now आप जब खाने जाते हो, whenever you are going outside for consuming any type of street foods, how many of you are considering the risk that that place might not be hygienic? Like you are concerned about the hygiene level of that food. Just raise your hand. like कितने लोगों को डर लगता है कि अच्छा खाना है कि नहीं, बाकी लोग शायद कैसा भी हो खा लेंगे चलेगा. Now these people, इतने लोगों को टेंशन रहता है कि अच्छा जगह है कि नहीं, is that a good place to eat or not. Now N9 conducted a study to test the hygiene levels and the practices of good street vendors who are actually doing good work. Along with that, what are the bad practices done by the other vendors that can damage your health. Okay, so in that we had created 3 groups. One is the pani puri vendors, second is juice walas, third is salad makers. Now these 3 groups were selected. In that we came to understand the risk factor that can cause a big impact on your health and hygiene of that food, particularly contamination of that food particularly. That are now these 3. If they are tying any type of thread, band, watches, any type of these things are tied on their hand during cooking, while cooking, that is one of the biggest contributor to contamination. Okay, so the pathogens are stored over in their thread and that can be transferred directly to the food. Okay, तो पानी पूरी का मसाला है, आप मिलाओगे, ना ही डुबाने से होता है, मसाले मिलाने के टाइम पे भी अगर ये लगा, that can spread the infection. Okay. Second thing is wearing any type of rings. आपकी उंगलियों में कभी आप rings पहन के cooking करोगे, that pathogens can be transferred, contaminated easily through these rings. Okay, that is second sign. Third, you all people know uncovered food shouldn't be consumed. Okay, salad makers also, they usually sometimes they don't cover. Because of that, even hygienic places have contamination related problems. So whenever the next time you are visiting any street vendors, make sure they are following these 3 at least. खाने का क्वालिटी बाद में देखेंगे, ये 3 तो पहले होना चाहिए कंपल्सरी. Okay. Next, development of ingenious technique for decontamination of spices. As you all know, आपने देखा होगा, your parents or your relatives, someone who is elder to you, they dry their spices in sun. You just think that they are just drying it for the sake of keeping it dry. Okay, पानी निकालने के लिए कर रहे हैं. But there is a very scientific reason behind it. Sunlight contains ultraviolet rays. Ultraviolet rays are very effective in killing these pathogens that are there in spices. Okay, so you know that for cleaning any type of spices, water can't be used. बिगड़ जाएगा. पानी डाल के अगर आप मिर्ची धोओगे, बिगड़ जाएगा. Okay, you can't do that. So for creating a solution for industry people. Okay, for example, when you are drying these chilies on your terrace, sometimes some bird might do something dirty over there. Other time dust might flew over there. Okay, insects might come over there. There is a chance of getting contamination from that area, even though sun is kept over there. Okay, you are taking really good care of that. Industry people can't be that careful about it. For them, a combination of ozone plus pulsed UV. UV was sent through pulse, and this technique was used for the decontamination of salmonella related bacteria from spices. Okay, so this technology has been created by N9 and that has been given for application at the spice industries in the food companies. Now, you can see over here a photo of a guava is given over there. Other than that, Fe, that is iron, is given over here. Okay, as a picture is given over here. Now, can you tell me how many of you people have a habit of consuming fruit, any type of fruit after your lunch or dinner? And just raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, these habits actually has been passed to you by your parents. You are not actually doing that on your own. Okay. Now, there is a very scientific reason for that. N9 had conducted a study in school children where a group of children were fed 100 grams of guava along with their rice based diet. Okay, dal chawal ke saath unko guava diya 100 grams. Okay, so it was observed in that case that the children who consumed guava with their diet had more absorption of iron in their diet. Okay, so my colleagues over here were explaining regarding the problems faced by our country and our countrymen like anemia and all. This can be a solution for that. This is a very cost effective and you can do it on a daily basis. Guava बहुत सस्ता मिलता है, oranges भी काफी सस्ते मिलते हैं. Okay, so by this study, it was known to us that consuming any vitamin C rich foods like orange, amla, lemon or guava over here, okay, after your meal can enhance the absorption of nutrients such as iron and other nutrients in your body. Okay, so absorption is a key factor, but for that, even that the content of food might be there, but it can't be absorbed by your body. These are the boosters of that. These boost the absorption of that. So I advise all of you to consume, have any type of fruit after your lunch or dinner. That will be beneficial for you, for any pregnant lady. You can advise this to your neighbors also. Okay. Now, N9 for the last 20 years has been working on diabetes related complications and its research. Now, till now we have identified many pathways leading to diabetes related complication and we were also looking for the solutions for them. So we had identified many of these naturally occurring foods such as fenugreek over here, cinnamon, turmeric, amla, ginger and pepper. They are all having bioactive components in them, and right now N9 is preparing a formulation for using all these things in a formulation and for giving it to people who are having diabetes related complications so that there is an improvement in their condition. So right now this has been given to getting the permission related for human trials, and I'm happy to say that I can say that by 2023 or 2024 these formulations will be ready for human trials. So with this slide I would like to say thank you for being attentive over here. Okay, I'll end my presentation with this slide and you are open for any type of doubts and questions. Thank you. So, any of you have any doubts?
Yes, you may raise your hand and come forward for any questions. Or I shall come to you. Just raise your hand. You're okay with it?
Raja, one suggestion. Before one small correction, rather adjustment. We are not suggesting you not to wear rings or handband, but be hygienic. We are not suggesting. Don't go with the assumption that NIM is recommending not to wear finger rings or handbands. We are not saying that. You have to be hygienic. Thank you.
That also, there is a small correction in that.
Thank you, sir.
The street foods study, I think James did not get enough time to cover that. 4 foods in Hyderabad were found to be highly risky for microbial contamination. One is Pani Puri, second is Bhel Puri, third is, I am telling you, third is fruit, Masala Puri nahi. Next is fruit juices, multiple fruit juices, they have different mixers for different fruit juices, but still, and Chinese foods. So in Pani Puri, there are several risk factors, but the major risk factor was not anything else, but hand jewelry was also one of the parts. We usually assume that it is, and also the stuffing, the boiled chana that Hyderabad is put, is also a problem. With simple things of removing this and serving hot chana in the Pani Puri, some of the microbial contamination could be brought down in our study. That is one. In Chinese, it's a hot food. Usually there is no microbial contamination of hot food. Usually Manchuria or noodles are served very hot on the street also. But the problem there is the handler is putting this cabbage, carrot, those things at the end of it. That salad is a problem, not the food itself. And in Bhel Puri also it's the salads usually. And in fruit juices they have different mixes for different juices. But the problem is they are not often cleaning it. Since it is sapotas, they use sapotas through the day without cleaning it. So those were different problems identified in different things, and targeted communication was given to them. That's how it worked. So next time when you go, just be little careful about these things. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Just to give sanctity to the talk and to conclude, sir, our convener and our organizing secretary remarks that Dr. Subbarao sir, who is the convener of the Science Festival, has published 9 decades of leadership in nutrition, a book with Dr. Sasikan, who is the former director, and is available at stalls. You can just, as you go there, you'll be finding that book and you can purchase it. It's all about the history of NIN. It was 9 decades, but now sir has also published another publication, 100 years of ICMR9 in IJMR. You can see it. It's freely available for download. You can download it in your mobile phone if you want to read it later. Just as you know, it's my duty to summarize the great work done by 3 people. Usually it's, it takes me 10 points to summarize things, but because there are 3, I'll take a little more. They've covered various aspects of NIN's history, starting from the founder Robert McCarrison's work on beriberi, on the achievement of mixed protein diet, which has resulted in low-cost recipes for the ICDS programs, vitamin A deficiency, which is a low-cost solution, Authorism in the area of food toxicity, Pellagra for niacin deficiency, double fortified salt, technology developed by our scientists. Then we have micronutrient sprinklers, who is also the guide of one of our PhD scholars here. And of course, we've focused about technology regarding blood collection. NIN has history of good biochemists. We have done a lot of blood tests here using advanced technologies. The dry blood spot technology here is where we assess field-based vitamin A estimations. And someone was talking about the Bible. When talking about the Bible, the Quran, the Gita, so we have the green, red, and blue book. So these 3 books are very important. I'll start first with the blue book, the IFCD, where you find the nutrient value of each food. So it's available on the counter, you can purchase. Then you have the red book, where is the scientific knowledge and how we derive the RDAs and ERs. It will not be much useful to you, but you can still have it. For good budding nutritionists, that is the book you have to see. And of course, you can purchase the Dietary Guidelines, which is the older version, but you also have the newer version. So you buy the green book, that is very easy for you to understand. And of course, the 14th point, visually challenged, 9 has been kind enough to understand various spectrum of society and their needs. The enemy surveys we had, tribal population surveys we have done, the food safety scientists we have here, and of course the vitamin C rich foods on dietary diversity, the dietetics department we have here, and finally the 21st point on the diabetic complications with which is entered is actually done none other than by the organizing secretary here, Dr. Bhan Prakash Reddy sir. Please give a round of applause. The 22nd year is also the palindromic year which the festival started 22 and 22, isn't it? Yeah. So there is a festival started. So I end with the 22nd note, but just before that, all this requires people. This is a huge amount of work, huge amount of scientists. It's you people who should be taken forward. And in this regard, I'll just give you one exemplary person of this institute who is also part of the 75 scientists. His name is Koltur Gopalan. If Robert McCarthy has founded the institute, he has taken institute to the current heights. It is his destiny that he was born when the institute was born in 1918, and he just passed away just before the year of COVID. It's when we say that nutrition, infection are vicious cycle, he has done all the nutrition work for us to tackle the infection of COVID this century. So please give a round of applause to Dr. Gopalan. Every nutrition scientist would want his award to be in at his deathbed when he dies, because that is the level of standard is put to this institute of great achievement of breadth and depth. With this, I conclude my remarks.
We have a poster of Gopalan, right?
Yes, we have a poster of Dr. Gopalan, who is part of the certificate. He is a Padma Bhushan and Padma Shri awardee also, and is the former Director General of ICMR. If we have a poster of him, you can just go through it. With this, I conclude my remarks on the speakers, and now request Dr. Ahmed Ibrahim sir, who is the convener of the scientific committee for the sessions, to come up to the dais and honor our 3 young scientists with shawls. First, Dr. Prakash. So they have won the best assessor rating competition. So one, okay. And I request Padmajara Mama to come onto the stage to honor
Arun student.
Arun. Yes, your own students.
Yeah, tell them that they won the competition.
Yes, they won the competition for which they have been selected for this. I request Dr. Aisha Ishmael to come on to the dais to honor the 3rd speaker, James Thomas, who has been fantastic, isn't it? I think he's already enthusiastic again in the future. So, with this note, we'll be ending the session, and I think you'll be going to the stalls, which is the Gopalan block, where all the fruits and vegetables are available. The post in the block. You can go in batches, and please go from the back door. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you.
లైవ్ కదా అటు ఇటు కూడా ఫ్రెండ్ చేతిలో అందరికీ అదైతే ఈ నుంచి ఓన్లీ స్టార్టింగ్